Would you watch someone get their head cut off? Maybe you don't have a choice anymore. With real-time access to the war in Ukraine in the palm of your hand and metrics judging the value of information providers, the race to be the first to report, share, and show the newest and oftentimes most shocking information can come at the cost of leaving off trigger warnings, neglecting editorial standards, and ignoring cultural taboos. I'm Dr. K, a political scientist who looks at how information is shared, especially about political topics. And in the next few minutes, we're going to take a serious look at about what showing death in war means, how journalism is changing, and what role experts think particularly beheadings have in war. The April 2023 videos showing Ukrainian soldiers that had been killed by Russian troops through decapitation is an example of the extreme brutality that Russian troops fighting Ukraine have shown and film themselves doing. Social media and our interconnectedness through it has removed the formal filters of journalism and gatekeepers who can control information but also check it for accuracy and balance. Now it's not people sharing news articles, it's news articles being shaped by what people are sharing. In what we can call traditional journalism, editors recognize the power of images. But anytime a news organization shows a picture of a dead body, there will be elements of exploitation. If there is an overwhelming value to the public, then the newsroom's choice is not to not show the picture, but how to minimize the harm. Most journalists and news organizations will take steps to warn their followers. Some organizations will leave it to the platforms they're posting it on, leaving it to Instagram or Facebook to regulate violent content. The challenge for democracies is to find ways to preserve the freedom that comes with more access to information while protecting against the threats that come with it. More authoritarian countries, like Russia, for example, have resorted to censorship, limiting their citizens' access to the internet in order to cope with perceived threats and, most importantly, maintain control. But what about the images that are shared and come directly from those committing war crimes? These images have immediate traction because of the shock value. But we need to think about the messaging. Still, we need to consider if the beheadings are isolated instances or much like the sexual violence, the rapes in places like Bucha and Irpin are part of an official Russian military strategy. On April 12th, Ukraine's President Volodymyr Zelensky said that this is a video of Russia as it is, of Russia trying to make this the new norm. It's not an isolated incident or episode. And videos like this make everyone who watches them a witness to a war crime. The Kyiv Post reports that Russian troops routinely commit extrajudicial executions of both POWs and civilians, sometimes beheading victims. Shortly after the April beheading video started circulating, CNN uncovered another video in which allegedly Wagner Group mercenaries beheaded 2 other Ukrainian POWs. A month before the beheading video went viral, a shocking video of the killing of a POW also went viral. In it, a Ukrainian prisoner of war is shot in the head by Russian troops after bravely saying Slava Ukraina, which is the Ukrainian national salute, not unlike when Americans say God bless America. These types of videos, filmed and disseminated by the perpetrators, have been studied. And while social media is different than in 2002 when Daniel Pearl, a Wall Street Journal journalist, was kidnapped and later decapitated by terrorists in Pakistan, or in 2014 when U.S. journalist James Foley was beheaded by ISIS, and ISIS uploaded a video to YouTube called A Message to America, the research is still valid. Images of both executions, especially beheadings and bodies without graves, is an expression of power. A simplified look at research, which is cited in the comments here, is that power is first experienced as punishment and, in its most basic form, is control. Power can be practiced beyond death, with death not being an escape in how bodies, which still carry socio-cultural and political meaning, are treated. Ukrainian social media and street conversations are charged with anger and pain as people discuss yet more potential evidence of Russian war crimes in Ukraine. Officials from the Defense Ministry of Ukraine have asked people not to share the video of the decapitation to spare the feelings of the relatives of the soldier who might recognize him on the video. Other soldiers tweeting from the front lines express grief and anger. It's easy to simplify the videos of the beheading as isolated, inhumane acts by Russian soldiers who have cracked. It's more difficult to deal with the idea that Russia's involvement in state-sponsored terrorism, the mounting evidence of war crimes, indicates these activities are part of a tactic to show power and maybe an attempt to activate a form of reflexive control. Kira Rudik, a Ukrainian opposition leader, is often interviewed internationally. She said most Ukrainians have seen the video, and once you've seen it, something you just can't forget. The footage forces Ukrainians to deal with the fact that this could happen to anyone fighting on the front. Could Russia be trying to activate misguided acts of revenge? Reflexive control is part of hybrid war. And it's an idea that you can create a situation which you can control and predict how your adversary will act. As Russia amps up its disinformation campaign in Africa, a region that has consistently framed the conflict in terms of the fault being on both sides, images of Ukrainian soldiers mistreating Russians would serve Russia well. As frightening as this might be, it also shows how much Russia is struggling. There is the idea that this brutalism shows how Russia is divorcing itself completely from the shared values in the international community. Russia may use the last of its power and influence to project false power, crossing taboos to remain relevant. Social media and hybrid war tactics allow the terrible effects of war, conflicts, and the physical violence of military power groups and states to easily be seen by the public. And this might be an indication that we'll be seeing more of this in the future. I hope this information will make it easier for you to understand what's behind the pictures and videos coming out of Ukraine. If you feel better informed, like this video. I can still comfortably react to comments, so leave one for me. There's a version of this video over on TikTok too. Here, the video has links and citations if you'd like to know more. And if you're still here, make sure you give me a follow.